Hey everyone, welcome to another tag video. Yes, it's been a while. My god, it's been quite some time since I've done a tag video. Yes, I used to love doing tag videos. It's been quite some, I think it's been almost like a year. Well, no, actually I did my A to Z Blu-ray tag. I think that was the last tag I did, but hey, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I got tagged in another video from my good buddy Adam Daly from Almost Sideways. Yes, hashtag that evolution, buddy. Yes. There's this tag called the Killer Flicks tag, which is basically a tag for all horror movie lovers and stuff, and I love horror films, and I've been talking about horror films lately, so it fits well with what I've been talking about lately to do this tag. Again, thank you, Adam Daly from Almost Sideways. I'm going to answer all 14 of these questions to the best of my ability, and at the end of the video, I'm going to tag 4 people to do this special tag, and yeah, let's get to it. Let's not waste any more time. Here's the Killer Flicks tag. Alright, let's start it off. I have them all written down right here. Question 1, number uno. What's your favorite vampire performance in a killer flick? Yes, favorite vampire performance. It's a good question. I think all the Dracula performances are all solid. Like, Bela Lugosi is so good. I love Christopher Lee in the Hammer horror films. He's definitely one of my favorites, but you can't beat Gary Oldman and Bram Stoker's Dracula. Like, that evil laugh, like, that terrifying laugh is just, it's menacing, it's creepy. He is just scary as shit in that film, and Gary Oldman's an amazing actor. He's going to win an Oscar in the next couple weeks and stuff. And yeah, I love him as an actor, and I loved his performance in Bram Stoker's Dracula. And vampire performance alone, that's one of the best performances. So I'm going with Gary Oldman, but Christopher Lee and Bela Lugosi, they're right there behind him. So yeah, that's question 1. Question 2, what was the very first killer flick? I'm trying to read. What was the very first killer flick that opened your eyes to the world of horror? So yeah, killer flick that opened my eyes, opened my imagination to the world of horror cinema. And yeah, so yeah, the movie that opened my eyes to horror films is The Exorcist. Yes, The Exorcist is a fantastic film. I watched it very young. I think I was way too young. I'm going to be answering The Exorcist for another question that I'm going to be getting to pretty soon, but I was too young for the movie. It scared the shit out of me. But it opened my eyes to horror, and I wanted to watch more movies like it and stuff. And again, I watched horror films as a kid. Like, I watched the very first Scream film, I watched the Dracula movies and stuff, but they didn't, like, make me become a horror movie fan. The Exorcist, I wanted to explore more demonic horror films and just horror films in general that have the same sort of tension and atmosphere as The Exorcist and stuff. And again, I loved Alien as well when I was younger, but again, The Exorcist is what brought me into the genre and made me a fan of the genre, so I'm going with The Exorcist. Okay, what's next? Question 3. I'm trying to read in this light here. Question 3. What's a really standout geographical setting for a killer flick? Example, Antarctica for The Thing. I can't believe that they use that as an example, because that's the answer I wanted to go with. Antarctica for The Thing. That is a great geographical setting for a horror film. That is terrifying, because they're in the middle of freaking nowhere, and it's freezing cold, and there's an alien taking over their bodies, and they don't know who's who and stuff. The Thing can become any human being it takes over and stuff, and again, they're in the middle of nowhere in Antarctica. There's snow and they're freezing. It's just, it's terrifying. And that's a great setting to be in. A very similar setting that I also like is in Alaska for 30 Days of Night. Because again, it's cold and it's vampires and they're taking over this very small town. There's nowhere to run. And also, in 30 Days of Night, it's during the time in Alaska for 30 whole days. It is eternal darkness. So that's terrifying as well. So those are very great geographical settings for horror films and stuff. And I also love, like, The Descent and stuff. That's really cool. In the cave and stuff, being stuck in the cave. Really good stuff. I love, like, claustrophobic feels. If I was doing thrillers, I would have obviously gone with, like, Buried and stuff, but that's not a horror film. But yeah, those are great settings for horror films. Alright, question number 4. Question 4. What killer flick are you embarrassed to say you love? I'm not embarrassed to say if I love a movie or not. this question doesn't apply to me because I'm not embarrassed about movies that I like and stuff. Like, sure, there are films that I probably like that other people don't agree with and probably the majority consensus don't enjoy, but I'm not embarrassed that I like it. Like, I like Scream 3, but the majority of critics didn't like Scream 3, but I like Scream 3. I think Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, Silver Shamrock, I think it's a very underrated film, but the critics panned it, and when that movie came out, it did horribly. It did so bad that they brought Michael Myers back. I really wish, actually, Halloween went in that direction. I wish Halloween was a bunch of anthology stories. One of my favorite things in horror films is anthology stories. I love anthology stories. That's why I love Trick or Treat. That's why I love Season of the Witch. That's why I even enjoy quite a few seasons of American Horror Story. Some seasons don't work, but some seasons are great because I love an anthology story, and I think those are great films. Some people might be embarrassed to like them, but I'm not embarrassed at all. I'm not embarrassed about any movie that I like. Like, I just don't get that. If someone doesn't like a movie, that's fine. Like, it's all opinion, it's all taste. You should never be embarrassed. Anyways, question 5. There are a lot of plot... Oh, okay, hold on. I can't even read my own goddamn writing. There are a lot of killer flicks out there that are based on true events. Do you have a favorite? A horror film based on true events, easily. Silence of the Lambs, 1991, the year I was born. I ate his liver with a pair of fava beans. Such a great film. Anthony Hopkins is so great in that film. I love Jodie Foster as Clarice. Hello, Clarice. Buffalo Bill. He puts the lotion on the skin, makes the hose go again. Such a great film. It's a great, intense film. It's the only horror film to ever win Best Picture. It's based on true events. It's based on the Chesapeake Ripper, which was Hannibal Lecter and stuff. Watch the show Hannibal. You learn so much more about Hannibal Lecter and how he was the Chesapeake Ripper, how he helped the police and stuff try to catch serial killers, and then he ended up being a serial killer and the killer that they were looking for and stuff. It's fascinating that the show Hannibal goes into really great depth about it, but Silence of the Lambs is a brilliant film and one of my favorites, and definitely one of the best films I've ever seen based on true events. So Silence of the Lambs. Question 6. What director would you like to see do a crossover franchise and stuff, like Rob Zombie in like a Friday the 13th, stuff like that? So, a director you would like to see crossover into a franchise, that's a great question. Honestly, I'd like to see Ridley Scott do more horror films. I think he is actually naturally talented. What he did with Alien is so terrifying and so bleak and so atmospheric. I never understood why he didn't do like a lot of horror films and stuff. I can see him doing like a Living Dead sort of film, like a Night of the Living Dead kind of movie. Also, Mike Flanagan, I want him to be in more franchises. He is one of the great horror directors working to date. And there was rumors that he was doing a remake of I Know What You Did Last Summer. I don't know if that's still a thing. Is that still a comment below? Let me know. Is that still a thing? If it is, Mike Flanagan should remake I Know What You Did Last Summer, because I Know What You Did Last Summer, I guess it's fun for what it is and fun for the time period it came out in. It's like, it's so 90s, but it's not a good movie, and the sequel's even worse. I love to see a genuinely great film based off of that story of I Know What You Did Last Summer, because that has such a cool concept. And Mike Flanagan's the perfect choice to do that. So I'd love to see Mike Flanagan do I Know What You Did Last Summer. I don't know if that's happening, but if it's not, make it happen. So yeah, that's what I'm going with. Alright, question 7. Question 7. What killer flick movie, let's do this again, shall we? Question 7. What killer flick movie was the toughest to watch? So the toughest to watch. I'm guessing just disgusting, or like, because I don't get scared of horror films, so I get grossed out though. And Martyrs is probably the most disgusting thing I've ever watched. Yeah, Human Centipede's fucking gross. Hostel's pretty nasty too. But those are stupid movies. Like, Human Centipede is disgusting, it is revolting, but it's also just garbage. So is Hostel. But Martyrs is actually not half bad. It's actually not a bad film, but it is repulsive. It is torture porn, and I hate torture porn. But there's interesting characters, and it is a decently directed film, and there's some depth to it, and there's some thought-provoking themes in it, and it's actually not a bad film, but it is disgusting. It was one of the most harsh watch films that I've ever experienced. It is disgusting and revolting. I definitely recommend it if you love like gory horror films. Watch Martyrs. You'll probably get a kick out of it, but if you get squeamish over a little bit of blood, then this movie will make you catatonic. It is fucked up, and yeah, I'm going with that one. It was a tough watch, Martyrs. Okay, question 8: who's your favorite killer flick? Yeah, I'm trying to talk. I can't even say killer flick. Like, what's wrong with me today? Who's your favorite killer flick final girl other than Jamie Lee Curtis? So, final girl. Jamie Lee Curtis is great, and I love Jamie Lee Curtis, but she's not even my favorite, so I wouldn't even go Jamie Lee Curtis. I would go, one of them is Nancy, Heather Langenkamp from Nightmare on Elm Street. I love her. Nancy is such a great character. I think she's cool, she's badass, she's very smart. How she gets Freddy Krueger into the human world and at the ending of Nightmare on Elm Street is so great, and yeah, I love her. And I love her in Wes Craven's New Nightmare, I love her in Dream Warriors, but she's not technically the final girl in Dream Warriors. That is Patricia Arquette, but Wes Craven's New Nightmare, she's so awesome. She plays herself, well, a Hollywoodized version of herself in Wes Craven's New Nightmare. So, yeah, Nancy's a good one. Also, Erin from You're Next, she is a total badass. Like, almost every character dies in, like, the first half of the film, and the rest of it is just her fighting these, like, murderers with masks. I won't spoil the twist, but her going apeshit and badass and her trying to survive and stuff. She is just a pure survivor, and she's just awesome. So, yeah, Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street and Erin from You're Next, probably like my favorite final girls. They're just awesome and badass. Alright, question 9. Which killer flick has scarred you for life? Again, I don't get scared of horror films and stuff, and even like a movie like Martyrs, it doesn't scar me, it's just disgusting. So movies don't really scar me. Like, there's some movies that leave an impact on me, whether they're good ways and bad ways and stuff, and then there's some movies that are just so, like, heart-wrenching they leave an impact on me. Like, I find, like, Schindler's List is pretty scarring because of the shit you have to see during the Holocaust and stuff, but as a horror film, when I was a kid, The Exorcist, like, it doesn't scar me now, but The Exorcist scarred me as a kid. When I watched that as a kid, I was way too young for that film, and it terrified the shit out of me, and I was afraid that I was going to get possessed and stuff, and again, I had a little bit of religion in me too when I was younger, so I believed in all that shit and demons and stuff. I'm not like that now, but Exorcist scared me, and even to this day, when I watch it, it is terrifying, it is scary, it scarred my sister. My sister still can't watch The Exorcist to this day. That movie terrifies her. Like, it scarred her for life. So The Exorcist, and also Suspiria. Dario Argento, how he directed Suspiria, is unsettling. The score, that's such a haunting. It gives me goosebumps. Even right now, I'm getting like goosebumps thinking about that score. That ending, just, oh my god, it is just, it's an unsettling film, and it really sticks with you. Again, they don't scar me, but they stick with you, and they'll stick with you for the rest of your life. So yeah, those ones I'm going with. Okay, question 10. What killer flick has the most killer soundtrack? I don't want to do this one because this is spoiling a top 10 list that I'm going to be doing in October, because I want to do my top 10 favorite horror movie soundtracks and favorite horror movie scores. So just to give you guys a little sneak preview, some of my favorite horror movie soundtracks is like The Guest, Trick or Treat, and The Lost Boys. Great soundtracks. And scores, obviously, like Exorcist, Suspiria, Halloween, The Thing, all great scores and stuff. Did I say Halloween? Yeah, I think I said Halloween. All great scores. The Conjuring has a great score. A lot of great scores out there. Jaws, boom, boom, boom. Like, those are great scores. So, yeah, those are some of my favorites. Question 11. What is the single greatest kill in a killer flick? It's the shower scene from Psycho. That is the pivotal scene. That is the scene. That is the death scene in a horror film. It is the shower scene from Psycho. That is such a well-shot scene. It's beautifully shot. Bernard Herrmann's score is fantastic. Janet Leigh's performance, you believe she is just downright terrifying. Alfred Hitchcock's direction is amazing. That is the definitive death scene in a horror film. So that is the greatest. It is the most influential. It is the most classic. It is the scene. It's the death scene. But also, like, some of my like favorites, just because they're so ridiculous and so stupid. One of my favorites is Final Destination 2, when the guy gets like ripped into pieces with the wires. So ridiculous and over the top, but it's kind of funny. Even Jason X, when he freezes the girl's face and like smashes it and like her face gets all ripped off. It is so dumb. That's a dumb movie, and that death scene is so ridiculous. It's absolutely hilarious, and I give it points for creativity. So yeah, those are some funny ones. But the Psycho shower scene, that is like the death. That is the death scene. So yeah, best death scene. Anyways, question 12. What do you think is the best performance ever in a killer flick? Easy. Annie Wilkes, played by Kathy Bates in Misery. Amazing. Like, that is perfection, that performance. Kathy Bates is terrifying in Misery. I'm your number one fan. I'm your number one fan. Eat you sick, twisted fuck. That's James Caan. Kathy Bates is so good in that film, and she's amazing. And obviously, Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs. Amazing performance. Those are, like, the best performances. They both won Oscars for the performances for a reason, because they're amazing. So yeah, those ones. Question 13. What killer flick location would you like to visit? Like in real life, or like in the movie? Like, go in the movie and go to the locations. Because I don't want to do that. I don't know if horror movies I want to stay away from, like, in real life. Like, if I don't want to actually go to Antarctica with the Thing, I don't want to actually go on Elm Street and get haunted by Freddy Krueger. But if we're just talking about, like, real life and just, like, visit the locations and stuff, then I love to go to the house where they shot The Exorcist. That's a really cool location. I love to go to, like, the Bates Motel where they filmed Psycho and stuff. Yeah, I love to go to the house where they shot The Conjuring. There's a lot of cool locations I'd love to visit and stuff. So, yeah, those are the kind of locations I'd like to visit. And lastly, question 14, the final question. Are there any killers from a killer flick that you sympathize with? Not really. Mostly, I guess Norman Bates from Psycho, because it's his mother's fault that he's crazy, because she basically ruined his life and stuff because she was such an overbearing and overprotective mother. So maybe if he was raised by a proper family, he would have actually been a normal human being. So he's the only, like, killer that actually has a reasoning why he's psycho and stuff. Jason Voorhees is the same way. Like, if he was raised by, like, a normal woman, probably wouldn't have been that bad. He would have been still deformed, but he wouldn't have been as, like, psychotic and shit like that. So I guess I sympathize with those guys. As a joke answer, I sympathize with Bruce, the shark from Jaws, because he's just a shark. He doesn't have, like, he has to feed and stuff, and, like, he's a shark. And he gets blown up. It's kind of sad. He's just a shark. And Michael Myers from Halloween Resurrection. I really sympathize with him. Dealing with all those douchebags, I would sympathize with anyone. And he gets his ass kicked by Busta Rhymes doing kung fu, so my heart bleeds for the guy. Yeah, those are my answers to the 14 questions for the Killer Flicks tag. Again, thank you, Adam Daly from Almost Sideways, for tagging me. Now I gotta tag 4 people, and the 4 people I'm going to tag, first off, I can't tag any of my boys from Evolution because Adam did that already. So first off, I gotta tag my good pal Ryan O'Toole. I'm expecting a tag video from you, Mr. O'Toole. I'm tagging you, Ryan O'Toole. That's my first one. Second one is Super Mario Fan 03. I tag him every time. I've been doing tags for years. I always tag him, so that's my second one. Third one is my good friend Darnell Neezy from the Neezy channel. I know he loves horror films, so I'm going to tag Neezy from the Neezy channel. And my fourth one, I'm going to tag Harry Thomas. Harry, I know he has a wide range of knowledge of cinema, so I'm very curious to see his answers for these horror questions. So those are the 4 people I'm tagging: Ryan, Neezy, Super Mario Fan 03, and Mr. Harry Thomas. So I'm expecting some video responses from you guys. So yeah, this was a fun tag to do, and yeah, I had a lot of fun. And obviously the people who I didn't tag, please in the comment section below, please tell me. Give me your answers to all these questions in the comment section below. I'm curious to know what you would have said for these questions and stuff. You all have different answers, different opinions. Give me your thoughts and opinions. Comment below, let me know. And as always, for this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.